Executives and business leaders, tell the truth. Tell the truth to other people, and more importantly, tell the truth to yourself. Okay, what do I mean tell the truth? This video is actually being made out of frustration because I work with a lot of business leaders in my coaching. And really, it's very simple. The truth always comes out. The market is a great place to suss out the truth. Public opinion susses out the truth. The truth is going to come out. So the biggest mistake leaders do is they don't necessarily lie, but they don't tell the whole truth. They withhold some of the truth from board members or investors, or they kind of diminish problems. They think that maybe they can handle it all themselves, that they're going to be the hero, they're going to figure it out, they don't need help, they don't need to burden other people with some of these problems, when in fact, people need to know what the truth is. So when I coach executives and other business leaders, we talk about the power of telling the truth. Now, you could be working for a company where the culture is such that the truth isn't being told, that people play favorites, that people are in denial. Maybe the company has a great culture, maybe people want to hear the truth, maybe everyone's not a yes man, but you need to start with yourself in the mirror. As long as you can tell yourself the truth, you are going to reduce your stress, you're going to have clarity on next steps, and you're going to sleep better at night. So if the truth is that the company that you're working for is not doing well financially, you need to look at yourself in the mirror at night before you go to bed and say, I accept that. I understand that. It's not my company. There's only so much I can do. I'm not the hero. It's up to leadership or the board or people that maybe have a role to play in the success of the company, because it's not 100% just on me. I need to accept that. And this is really difficult for some people who are very ambitious, so it feels like they're giving up control. But you got to understand the reality is you are in a vehicle. If it's not 100% your company, then you are working with other people who are also responsible for the success or failure of the company. Your part in that is smaller than you think, and that's actually appropriate because you're a team member. You're not a ball hog. You're not supposed to save the day. And it's not up to you if everything fails. If there's some toxicity, dysfunction going on in the company that you're working for, doesn't mean that you're giving up. It just means you're being real with yourself, and you're no longer on an ego trip to save everybody. Now, if you work for a company that has a positive culture that is a little more functional, maybe you can speak up. And maybe your reluctance to speak up is that you're just kind of afraid to make people uncomfortable. When in fact, you could speak up, you could tell the truth, and people would be actually okay with it or neutral with it, and they wouldn't fire you right away or something like that. So let's pretend now that it's actually that kind of culture. Your hang-up might be that you don't want to burden people with bad news, or that you want to save the day, or that it's okay for you to work your ass off, but other people need to, you need to make them happy. I want you to ditch all that stuff. That's kind of an ego trip. What you're actually getting out of that is that you're going to be the hero or the grinder or the martyr or whatever. Just drop all that crap and really start speaking up and telling the truth if that company culture is such that it allows that. And if you start doing that, you don't have to radically change your personality, but if you start dropping some of these truth bombs and saying, hey, this marketing campaign's not going to work, or this investment's not going to work, or I don't think we should consider this merger, or whatever it is, like speak up, suss it out, and people are really going to appreciate that if the culture allows that. Again, like I said, if you're working for a culture where leadership is in total denial and they don't want to hear bad stuff, right? You can play that game, and as long as you accept the rules of that game, or you can move on and work for a healthier place. Okay, so let me give you some strategies here, just real world stuff that's going to work for you for telling yourself the truth. I kind of already gave it away, but rule number one or strategy number one is to understand that if you don't own 100% of the company, right, that it's not your company and it's not appropriate for you to hide things from other people or take on all the burden yourself. That's kind of the hack right there. The strategy is just the realization that it's not about you. It's not all you. You're not even responsible for the success or the failure. It's a team effort. Strategy number two for telling yourself the truth is about what I was talking about at the beginning of the video, which is how well do you sleep at night when you look at yourself in the mirror before you go to bed? That test. If your head hits the pillow and you don't have a lot of stressful thoughts about I should, not tell this person this thing, and I should tell the truth to this person, but not this person, and I need to save the day. Like if your head hits the pillow and you have basically peace of mind, there could be chaos happening at your company, but as long as you're being real and honest and principled with yourself, then your head hits that pillow. I call it like the pillow test. If you're sleeping well, that's an indication, that's a good strategy, that you're going to be playing that corporate game in a much healthier way. Okay, 2 strategies for telling the truth to other people. This could be board members, this could be directors, this could be key players, anybody that is in a position of power and authority that maybe you report to, or that's, like I said, a key player. The first strategy for telling the truth to them is, I call it a test balloon, okay? So strategy number 1 is the test balloon. You're going to push the edge of telling more of the truth, being more direct in a more of a lower stakes situation as an experiment and see what kind of feedback you get. Okay, so it could be that all of your fears were, not even merited because you were like worried about telling the truth and people being upset, and everyone's just fine with it. It's that kind of a culture. So that's like a test balloon. But it could be a toxic culture or a denial culture, and people, make you the bad guy, right? Now you know, right? So I call that the test balloon. The second strategy I have for you for telling the truth to others, especially others who are key players, is the other opportunities mode. What I mean by this is that you should always have other opportunities, irons in the fire. Doesn't mean that you're actively seeking another job, but it means you have a network such that if you got fired tomorrow, that you could tap into your network and get a job fairly quickly. You need to have that as like a card in your pocket. It's called the other opportunities card. That's your second strategy, so that you have less to lose. It's less, they have all this power over you if you're telling the truth. Because if you're afraid of them blaming you for the bad news, or you getting fired for telling the truth, right? You have that card in your back pocket, and you should always have that card in your back pocket if you're an executive working for a big company or any company. Like, just knowing that, I could go someplace else. I have, a year of cash saved. I've got assets I could liquidate. You want to be in that sort of proactive position anyway at this company, so that you have that other opportunities card, and that gives you permission to tell the truth. You have the power, they don't. Okay, that's it. Tell the truth. The Policy of Truth. A great song by Depeche Mode, by the way. That's kind of random, but this has been on my mind a lot recently in the people that I work with, executives and other leaders, is that we find out that telling the truth actually works in the long game, in the long run. It's a great policy. And if you start doing more of it, you're going to notice your stress levels go down, you sleep better at night, right? You start being more proactive, you're less of a martyr or a grinder or a hero, and you just take a breath and you go, hey, you know what? There's more to life than my career. It's really about the long game and having my head screwed on straight and my heart aligned and my principles aligned. So start telling the truth. Gave you some strategies there, and I hope it helps you. I'm Michael Ceely. I'm an executive and business coach, and I work with leaders around telling the truth and playing the long game. And if you want to get even deeper, I have a free masterclass. There's a link in the description below. It's a free class. There's no upsell, pure information to you, because if you've watched the video this far, it means that you're really interested in up-leveling as a leader. And there's some common psychological blocks that really hold leaders back from implementing a lot of these strategies. So I want to help you with that. And the class is really going to help. There's a link in the description below, and you'll have access to that free masterclass.